Hi, I'm Nicholas Cups, owner and CEO of Shopsmith. I bought the company a little over a year ago, and I hope some of these questions help you understand kind of how that journey's been going. We look forward to doing more of these in the future, and I'll give it to you, Elizabeth.
I'm Elizabeth Baldwin. I'm the Director of Operations. I joined the company in 2018, did a bunch of different things over the years, mostly marketing, analytics, financials. It really was the opportunity of a new owner coming in that allowed me the chance to really show operationally what I thought the business could grow into and should look like going forward. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to be here with Nick, and I'm looking forward to answering your questions.
Of course, anything's possible. However, there's a lot of things that we need to fix first with our company. It's a neglected company it's like when the analogy I've used from day one is you buy a vacant house that's been vacant for 5 years to fix it up, and you open up the walls and you're like, that raccoon shouldn't be living in there. And so there's a lot of that with any organization that just kind of has been left to its own devices. So we've done that over the last year of cleaning that up, and now we're starting to look at what innovations can we bring to the table, what improvements can we make to the machine, what line extensions can we add. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we trimmed, and now it's time to focus on selling, brand awareness, and then eventually innovation.
That's a concern that we've heard from several customers since we rolled out the touchscreen mechanism. We are looking at options that will either provide an emergency paddle stop or a reprogramming of the running screens to accommodate a much larger and safer stop-start mechanism. So we are looking at those options. It's a high priority for us. In both previous iterations of the Mark, either with the conventional headstock or the Gen 1, you would have to reference a speed chart separately from the machine and then go enter that speed to go perform whatever task you're doing. This takes all of that out of the equation. We did an exhaustive tracking, charting of all operations, materials, functions, and assigned safe speeds to all of those. There's nothing more intuitive than what we have.
I think there's a common misconception with when we have stuff going on back order. As I've said before, when you have a neglected company, a lot of stuff breaks, right? And so we've spent the last year fixing and enhancing our supply chain, and at the same time trying to reach new markets. We're successful on both ends, but what ends up happening is when you have an old supply chain and you tug at too many threads, things break. So right now, because the demand for our product is increasing, and we actually had a record month in October, it has put us on back order, and we are now looking at how do we enhance the supply chain to go faster. Every machine is hand built to order. So I don't think that we can ever reasonably expect that our company is going to be like Amazon, where you order it in 2 days, you get it. They're made by hand here in Dayton. Now, eventually, if we sell 1 million of these things a year, yeah, we're going to have to scale. But that's a whole different world right now. We're starting, where we're starting. So, we appreciate the patience, but just know that the back orders is more of it's a problem of the good, not necessarily that we're failing as a business. We're seeing demand increase across all parts, new machines and everything. And we're testing the constraints of our supply chain right now. And we're learning from it. And the only way to do that is trial and error.
We will have the opportunity to add more personnel, more customer service folks. The key there is that we really do want them trained well when they make it on the phones. So we want them to hit the ground running, ready to take people's calls and answer questions, and that does take time.
We're actually addressing that now. We've got consultants in that are helping us design the right training, the right process, the customer experience. We're looking at all of that. So even with the staff we have now, you'll see a huge increase in attention and responsiveness, and that will only get better going forward. We have, that is a big challenge, especially for the machine that we make, a large machine. There's a problem that you've got with two things. You've got volume issues. To ship internationally, if you're shipping one at a time, it's very expensive. And then even if we had sufficient volume, it still would be too expensive, where most companies, that's why they build manufacturing plants in those countries. So we are looking at solutions into Canada and Mexico right now. Europe is going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a one-off where you're just going to have to pay the freight to get there. But we are looking at how to scale that for sure.
Presently, the distributor relationship that we had, unfortunately, we have not been able to get in touch with All-in-One Tools. We think maybe they have even gone out of business. So to Nick's point, we are actively looking for new, reliable distribution partners for the Canadian market. Mm-hmm. It's very important to us.
Yes and no. Long term, absolutely. The problem with those distribution channels is you usually have a very large fee that you've got to pay for that distribution, and that can be upwards of 20% of your sale price. So, that would destroy our profit margin at present. However, we are talking with the independently owned versions of all those companies to start here in Dayton, to start geographically close to us, and see how those go. Given our backorder situation that we talked about before, supplying them with finished products is not possible right now, nor might it ever be. However, ordering through them will send an order to us that you can pick up at their store. So we are working on that supply chain right now. That's probably a 2025 initiative that you'll see come through, but yes. So, but long term, I don't know if we'll ever have a retail presence like that. Going direct to customer from a website is just far superior.
I think we are always looking for smart, innovative products to add to our product line. We have in the past reached out to some innovators in the market or in our customer base when we've seen something or they've brought something to us that we thought was viable. We're always interested in people's ideas, innovations, anything that we can do reasonably to make the experience better for our customers and make the machine better, safer. Mm-hmm. All of that is
yeah, as long as they meet our safety and quality. That's pretty much the hardest thing. Is we take so much pride in the quality of our machines. The good news about Shopsmith is it never breaks, and the bad news about Shopsmith is it never breaks. And so from a business standpoint, so matching that quality and expectation with third parties is challenging in today's market, where everyone wants to build in planned obsolescence into their mm-hmm. machines, so they break after 5 years. You have to buy new ones. So that's been, I think, the biggest hurdle for us in partnering with third parties. But the desire is there for sure. Well, that goes to my psyche of if I'm ever satisfied. And I would say the answer is obviously never. So, however, I am very happy with our progress. We could always do more. We could always do better. But I'm extremely happy as I look back over the last year of, where we were when I took over to where we are today, almost as an unrecognizable business from where we were. So in today, it's just we're lean and we're mean, and we've kind of gotten rid of all of the bad parts of the company, and now we're focusing on the good parts. And I think the public is starting to see that. Just like I said, we had a phenomenal October in sales. And if that's any indication, October historically is a pretty slow month for us. So to have that happen was I think evidence of the work we're doing.
The website that we had prior to switching to the WordPress site that we had back in November, before we switched to the current site that we had, I want to say in excess of 200,000 unique pages. There's very little useful information in those pages that is not currently contained on our website. We, through 2 generations of website updates, have done a very careful job of trying to make sure that we're making improvements from each platform and carrying the useful information from one to the next. So hopefully we're much closer to what you would hope or what you would expect to see. If you have individual concerns, absolutely bring them to our attention. If there's something that's missing from the website, we want to make sure that that information is out there for our customers. So bring that forward to us, and we'll do what we can to get that information up for people who are curious.
It's tough. You got to learn a new thing. And with the breadth of our website, that's like going to college again. And so we've tried to simplify it to make it more approachable, user-friendly. And then we're going to address things. My guess is the genesis of that question are things that, like, in those iterations, we lost some things that people were really, really attached to, like some of the links throughout all the forums. Like, there's a lot of data there that we lost unintentionally. And we're working to get it back, but, you know, it's kind of like, how much time do we want to spend in the past versus how much time do we want to enhance the future?
And if the question was related more towards, wanting to be able to see your own individual purchase history, all of that functionality should have been restored to the current website. It may not look the way that you recall it looking, in previous iterations, but that is in place. Hopefully, no one's having issues accessing their purchase history or anything like that. But
it's a good question, but it goes against kind of what we're focusing on. And it's not that we're abandoning the old, but we're just focusing on the future.
I think that if there were a way that that we might look to leverage that used market is actually in trying to find those customers and show them what upgrades and new equipment, safety enhancements, that kinds of things are available for their used product. And not necessarily like, here we have used equipment that you can buy, but here are the things that you can do to make it run better, safer, additional functionality.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Right now we service all of those, whether it's supplying parts to make them run or to upgrade them, whatever it might be. That's our focus. We're not going to try to get involved in the space of buying and selling used equipment. But if that's how you get into the Shopsmith family, we're here to help you.
Welcome.
Go forward. Exactly.
Our belt sander is phenomenal. And we have in the past offered a drum sanding solution. You still can find those products available on our website. As far as adapting the table configuration to accept a 14-inch drum sanding roll, I think that that's unlikely. But again, mostly because the belt sander that we produce today is really a phenomenal product and is capable of any of the functions that a 14-inch drum sander would take care of.
Okay.